It is officially 5:30, so we're going to call this meeting to order. And we will begin with item number 2, invocation or moment of silence from Member Hanson.
I apologize in advance for how long-winded I will be, but I will not ramble, I promise. March is Women's History Month. As is all too common, many notable women's stories are left out of historical records because they are merely referred to as some man's wife, daughter, or sister. I'd like to take this time to quickly share 4 notable McLean County women who were leaders that I believe we as board members might all model ourselves after. Lucy Orme Morgan, born in 1852 in Bloomington, was a lifelong social servant whose many accomplishments included serving as the Girls Industrial Home Board President for 33 years. The home served neglected girls, giving them a place to live and receive an education. Lucy helped the home expand and improve services. The Girls Industrial Home is known today as Bright Point and continues to serve children who have experienced neglect. Florence Risserfunk, born in 1871, was one of McLean County's most renowned suffragists who worked to press the Illinois General Assembly into passing the Presidential and Municipal Voting Act, which was signed into law in 1913, making Illinois the first state east of the Mississippi to give women limited rights to vote. Eva Gator Jones was born in 1930 and was an advocate for young people, especially young people of the local Black community. When growing racial tensions at Bloomington High School came to a peak in 1970, she knew she had to do something. She ran and became the first person of color elected to the Bloomington School Board, then the first Black school board president, and eventually ran and was elected as the first Black member of the Bloomington City Council. Her legacy is remembered as one of bridging gaps and addressing issues of inequity. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the first woman to serve as chair of this body, Nancy Froelich. Serving as chair starting in the mid-'80s, Nancy was known as a practical unifier and led McLean County during a period of intense economic growth. She established the Juvenile Detention Center, expanded the Law and Justice Center, and was responsible for the preservation of the old courthouse, helping transform it into the McLean County Museum of History. These 4 individuals are just a snapshot of the many amazing women in our community's history whose contributions shaped McLean County into the place that we know and love today. Working to learn about people whose stories are often overlooked isn't just fun or interesting, it helps us learn new ways to care for one another and be better stewards of our community. I encourage us all to go learn more about our local women's history. Thank you.
Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we do have some special guests with us today, and they are all lined up and behaving very well. And they are going to sing for us tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to them. Thank you so much. All right, moving on, we have item number 4, roll call.
Lindsay Bloomfield, absent. Mark Claus,
Here.
Leah Klein,
Present.
Alex Duffy,
Here.
Sean Fagan,
Here.
Buck Farley,
Here.
William John Friedrich, Eric Hansen,
Present.
Val Lehman,
Present.
Brian Leffler,
Present.
Mike O'Neill, Adam Reeves, absent. Jim Rogal,
Present.
Natalie Roseman Mendoza,
Here.
Jeff Tompkins,
Here.
Andy Zebarth,
Here.
Crystal Label,
Here.
Corey Byrne,
Present.
Beverly Bell,
Present.
Chair Elizabeth Johnston.
Yes, I'm here.
10, sorry.
All right, moving on, we have item number 5, appearance by members of the public and county employees. Administrator Taylor, do we have anyone tonight?
We've had no requests this evening.
Thank you. Before we move on to item number 6, I will be pulling 2 items from the consent agenda. That is item 6C1B and item G1. Uh, 6C, isn't cat, 1B. And now I'd like to take a motion to bring the consent agenda as amended to the floor. Can I get a motion? Motion by Member Hanson, second by Member Fagan. Any other comments or questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on. We do have, I don't think we had any there. We do want to bring the approval of the resolutions and congratulations and commendations to the floor. Up first, we have the Ag Day proclamation and resolution in support of agriculture. And we do have some Farm Bureau members here. So if we could meet us at the podium, we would love to make this presentation. Hi, how are you? Okay, we are on. Okay. In McLean County here, we owe so much to our agricultural partners. Every 2 years, we do bring forward our Allies in Agricultural proclamations, and tonight is no different. So we do have 2 proclamations we're going to read in gratitude to our farming friends in McLean County. So resolution in support of McLean County agriculture. Whereas Illinois is home to more than 71,000 farms, 96% of which are family-owned, and a third of which include livestock. And McLean County accounts for 1,416 of those farms producing a diverse range of grain, specialty crops, and livestock. Consistently produces the largest volume of corn and soybeans of any county in the nation. And whereas agriculture represents the largest land use in the county, representing approximately 85% of total land area, farmland is a finite resource that is vital to agriculture, food production, and the economic well-being of our county, with approximately 93% of total acreage in McLean County designated as prime farmland based on soil types and productive capacity. And whereas agriculture in McLean County supports 5,593 jobs, representing an estimated 5% of total jobs in the county, with a total economic impact estimated at $1.5 billion annually. Whereas agribusiness has been identified as one of the 5 key economic sectors targeted for growth by the Bloomington-Normal Economic Development Council, with new livestock development providing opportunities for economic growth, additional jobs, and the next generation of farmers. And whereas farmers in Illinois comply with robust regulation involving state and federal agencies to ensure environmentally responsible practices, data and information from state regulatory agencies demonstrates that environmental issues from agriculture are an extremely rare occurrence. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the McLean County Board acknowledges the value of agriculture to our local economy and rural communities and expresses support for the continued growth and development of agriculture within our county. This is adopted by the McLean County Board this 13th day of March, 2025.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Anna Ziegler here with McLean County Farm Bureau. She has just pretty recently been assigned the role of manager, and she's doing an outstanding job. And also to Darren Davis here. McLean County Board Proclamation, March 18th, 2025, National Ag Day. Whereas National Ag Day marks a nationwide effort to tell the story of American agriculture and remind us that agriculture plays an essential part of all of our daily lives, and whereas National Ag Day has been established since 1973 and has been proclaimed as such annually by each U.S. President, and whereas the 2025 National Ag Day theme is Agriculture, Together We Grow, and whereas National Ag Day encourages every American to, number one, learn where their food comes from and the farmers that grow it. Number two, appreciate the role agriculture plays in providing safe, abundant, and affordable food, feed, fuel, and fiber. And number three, acknowledging the essential role of agriculture in maintaining a strong economy, protecting our environment, and lastly, considering the wide range of career opportunities in agriculture, food, and fiber industry. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the McLean County Board thanks farmers and our local agriculture business for their contributions to our local community, and be it further resolved by the McLean County Board that March 18th, 2025 is designated as National Ag Day in McLean County, adopted by the McLean County Board this 13th day of March 2025. Thank you. There you go. Yeah.
I just want to thank the board and all the members for your continued support of agriculture. We greatly appreciate it and look forward to working with everybody in the future. And just remind everybody that spring is coming soon. Actually, it started yesterday, it seems like, and a lot of people out on the roads with big farm equipment. So drive slow, be safe, and it'll be great. Thank you.
So much. Our next congratulating commendation is from Corey Byrne, and it's Music in Our Schools Proclamation.
Thank you. So you just heard a few minutes ago from representatives from 6 elementary schools throughout McLean County: Stevenson Elementary, Sheridan Elementary, North Point, Towanda, Prairieland, and Parkside Elementary Schools. So thank you so much to the teachers and the directors of those ensembles. The proclamation, whereas for 40 years, March has been officially designated by the National Association for Music Education as Music in Our Schools Month, encouraging communities across the nation to focus on music education. And whereas McLean County is home to 10 public school districts, 57 schools serving 23,590 students from pre-K through grade 12, and whereas school music programs are a vibrant and beloved part of our community's culture, allowing our students to sing and play instruments at all age levels, develop and participate in countless performance opportunities locally, nationally, and internationally, and use their skills developed as musicians to benefit their technological, academic, and social development. And whereas music education is a part of a well-rounded education for every student as outlined in the Every Student Succeeds Act, and whereas the purpose of this celebration is to raise awareness of the lasting positive impact of music education on academic, personal, and professional growth of our students. Whereas music education shapes the way our students understand themselves and the world around them, allowing for a deep engagement with learning. And whereas Music in Our Schools Month reminds us that school is where all children should have access to music. And whereas music educators, students, and communities throughout McLean County demonstrate the importance of quality music education programs to the lives of young people. Now therefore, the McLean County Board does hereby recognize March to be Music in Our Schools Month in McLean County and encourages all residents to celebrate and acknowledge every day, but especially March, that music education is a well-rounded part of our education. Adopted by the McLean County Board this day, the 13th of March, 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Byrne. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7, standing committees. And I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Rogel for the Executive Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Executive Committee has 2 items for action. First item is 7A1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, and this requires a 2/3 approval pursuant to 55 ILCS 56-1003, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Bell. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next up, we have 7A1B, which is request approval of a form intergovernmental agreement between McLean County and individual fire protection districts for allocation of funds via the Illinois Opioid Allocation Agreement, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Natalie Roseman Mendoza. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item 7A1B passes unanimously.
The Executive Committee has no other items for action, and our general report can be found on pages 20 through 24 of the unapproved minutes.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rogel. Moving on, we've got item 7B, Finance Committee with Member Lehman.
Thank you very much, Chair Johnston. The Finance Committee has 1 item to be presented for action this evening. That's item 7B1A, the request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, which requires a 2/3 county board approval pursuant 55 ILCS 5/6/1003, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Hanson. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item 7B1A passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, Chair Johnston. The Finance Committee has no other items to be presented for action this evening. We do have our general report, which can be found on pages 16 through 19 of the unapproved minutes packet. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, item 7C, Health Committee, Member Byrne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Health Committee brings 4 items for action today. Item 7C1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Tort Judgment Fund 0135. This requires a 2/3 approval, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of items 7C1A, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 7C1B, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0103. Also requires a 2/3 majority, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Farley. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7C1B, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on, item 7C1C, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0105. Also requires a 2/3 majority, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7C1C, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lastly, we have 7C1D, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Funds 0401 and 0135. Also requires a 2/3 majority, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Hanson. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item 7C1D passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Health Committee brings no other items for action. Our report can be found in the unapproved minutes. As a way of informing, would like to give a shout out to jail nursing staff for prioritizing and fulfilling mental health needs of the jail residents and for covering for staff. There's been quite a few absences recently, so want to give a shout out for them for supporting each other. The jail staff is excited about the IWU students starting clinicals in the nursing program at the jail. The nursing home is managing construction well with minimal disruptions. That has started and is proceeding nicely. The health department is monitoring disease trends, including bird flu. There was a couple questions from some residents recently about bird flu and dead birds, and Director McKnight was very clear and very informative about letting us know that bird flu is extremely low risk in McLean County and in the state of Illinois. In fact, we have 0 human cases in the county and 0 human cases in the state, but the department does continue to monitor for those things. And lastly, the McLean County Health Council has met to ID priorities for the upcoming needs assessment. So it's been busy times.
It has been. And I also know that the Board of Health recently put out their 2024 annual report, and that is going to detail everything that they have been up to. And so I'm looking forward to diving into that as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, moving on. Item 7D, Justice Committee, back to Vice Chair Rogel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Justice Committee has 3 items tonight for action. 7D1A is a request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the Court Services Department. This requires a 2/3 vote, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Farley. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1A, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next up, we have 7D1B, request approval of an administrative office of the Illinois Courts Standard Vendor Agreement for Goods and Services, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Zebarth. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1B, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Last item for action is 7D1C, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, and this requires a 2/3 vote, and I so move.
May I get a second? Second by Member Duffy. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of item 7D1C, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
The Justice Committee has no other items for action. Our general report can be found on pages 12 through 15 of the unapproved minutes. I'd also like to thank the sheriff and his deputies who came and spoke during committee regarding the process of revocation and suspension of FOID cards, what the processes are for them, and the state police in those regards. So if anybody wants, they should watch the video of that. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Moving on, item 7E, Property Committee. Member Abel.
Thank you so much. The Property Committee has no items to be presented for action, and our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes packet. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7F, Land Use and Transportation. Member Klein.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. The Land Use and Transportation Committee brings 3 items for action this evening. The first, 7F1A, request approval of a resolution and intergovernmental agreement with Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network, IPWMAN, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Hanson. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of 7F1A, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Chairperson. So 7F1B, just note the Scribner's error for the minutes. This is a request approval of an amended intergovernmental agreement for Route 66 bikeway development and maintenance, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Loeffler. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7F1B, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So the item that was moved that was previously 6C1B, it would now be 7F1C, as a motion to approve the application of Yarrow Solar LLC in case SU 25-02 on parcel 33-12-400-008, is requesting a special use to allow a 5 megawatt commercial solar energy generating facility on approximately 39 acres of a 112-acre property in the agricultural district in Mount Hope Township, and is located immediately west of 600 East Road, approximately 1/4 mile north of Old Principal Road. And Chairperson, I'd like to make a motion to table this to a date certain, that date being our next meeting, which is April the 17th.
Thank you. Can I have a second to table? Second by Member Lehman. Any comments or question? So what that means is that will be brought back at the next meeting. No comments or questions? All in favor of tabling motion 7F1C to next month, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Chairperson Johnston. I would just note that our minutes are provided in the unapproved minutes packet, pages 2 to 5, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Moving on, item 7G, County Administrator, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no items to be presented for action, but for a point of information, we did pull the Tamil Day proclamation. Since it was not an action item, it does not require a tabling, but we will be bringing that back at a future date.
That is correct. We'll be celebrating Tamil Day next month, when we can have some people here to celebrate with us. Other than that, we have item 8, other business or communication from the committee, from the board. Anyone have any announcements for the community? I just want to echo the Farm Bureaus. We are moving into having heavy equipment on the roads, and so if we can all take a breath and take it down a notch, we can all make it home safely, and that is a big priority, safety, big priority for us, and making sure that we get through the seasons and all make it home to our loved ones. Other than that, item 9, we are adjourned.